Hey guys, BrettFX here. This video is sponsored by EA Game Changers, so props to them for yeah, everything that they've done for me. So I really enjoy the program. If you guys are interested, definitely look into it. It is available for content creators to try and sign up, get involved in it. You got to start somewhere, so it never hurts to actually give it a try and go. So we are in the very first week of Battlefield 5. We're about to launch, I believe today or tomorrow. It may be the day of by the time you guys hear this video. But we are going to be having the deluxe edition that is going to be launching, so that's going to be pretty exciting stuff. More people are going to be getting into it. But I had played about 24 hours of Battlefield 5, and I have to say, overall, I am very happy with the game. I definitely see myself playing this game in a public capacity for quite a while. I mean, this was something that I was a little bit worried about initially. It felt like sorry about that on my phone, but it felt like Battlefield was definitely going down the wrong road. Well, not felt, it was going down the wrong road with Battlefield 1, and a lot of that. Oh my good lord, phone, shut up. Okay, let's stop that. But we're doing this in one take, boys and girls. It felt like it was definitely, it had lost its way. It did lose its way, and we were going to have, basically we were going to lose the franchise that I loved so much, which is Battlefield. I've been playing this game since Battlefield 2. I played 2142. I played, all the both of the Bad Company series on Xbox and on PC, and then of course everything since then. So I've really enjoyed the franchise, and it really broke my heart to see the way Battlefield 1, the road that it went down. I ended up uninstalling the game within, I think, 6 months, and never really looked back. The only thing that's really been keeping me in the Battlefield franchise really has been the dangling of the carrot of competitive play, the possibility of us having a competitive scene. Now, I'm not saying that that is not going to happen. It is definitely a very good possibility that we are going to be having competitive play in Battlefield 5, especially since Yoye has constantly teased about having Battlefield 5 competitive play. The only problem is that they haven't announced any kind of time frame. They haven't announced what kind of mode it may be. They really haven't announced anything about it other than the fact that they have been working on it. We had that little bit of teaser for Incursions, which was ultimately, it did some good things for DICE. It did nothing for the community, though. Got a lot of people's hopes up and pretty much dashed them right away. So, looking at that, I went into Battlefield 5, really as a public game. And I think that it has delivered as a public game. It is a very fun. It has a lot more depth, in my opinion, so far than what Battlefield 1 did. I mean, I played maybe 100 hours of Battlefield 1, and I was pretty much tired of it after that 100 hours. I felt like I had basically gone through every inch of that game that I possibly could. And with Battlefield 5, within my 20-25 hours or so already, I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface. I felt like there's a lot more meat to this game. And I'm really excited to see what's going to be coming out, especially in the Tides of War, where they're going to be constantly updating, adding things, adding new maps. Very excited for that. Now, it's not all good. There are some things about Battlefield 5 that I do not like, and we'll talk about those here in just a second. But the gunplay is a lot more enjoyable. It's not perfect. There are some things on it that I don't like. I think that there are some instances where there's just way too much horizontal recoil. And I think that there are some instances where they need to maybe add a little bit more recoil. But, those I imagine are going to get tweaked down the road. Not too hyped up on the specializations. I think that the specializations for the guns are not that great. But I do see where there are some really cool functions that they can serve later on down the road, where they can actually start adding tweaks and changes to specific guns later on as content. Like that's pretty damn cool. Instead of having an attachment that they have to release that would affect it in some stat wise, they can just add a specialization for it. So I think that's pretty neat. and it adds some stuff to the game later on. I know not everybody's going to be a fan of it, but I do think that it has a lot of potential there in that aspect. So really like the base gameplay. The movement feels pretty decent. I do have some problems with the vaulting and sticking on some edges, especially on Devastation. But that's a Battlefield game, to be honest. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I just kind of expect it. Like, it's just gonna happen. So whatever. But that for the most part, base game is really, really good. So let's get into what I don't like. What I don't like right now is the game modes themselves. So I've never been a fan of Breakthrough, or what they call it, Operations in Battlefield 1. I thought it was horrible in Battlefield 1. It's still horrible in Battlefield 5. It turns into a big cluster because it's a flag system instead of a point system, and it's not like that for every day. I realize that it changes based on the day. Sometimes you have frontline, sometimes you have other, but Breakthrough is still like the main focus. I don't like it. You do have that one mode where you take bombs to like some sites and stuff, but that's still, it just turns into a big cluster. It's not designed for that kind of play. I don't like the fact that you are airborne out of the sky into an imaginary spawn up in the air, and you basically end up insta-dying, or you're sitting on the ground with a bipod, just picking them out of the sky. I mean, it's so ridiculous with the MGs. You can sit down with a bipod, and you have unlimited ammo. You have the most accurate gun in the game because it's bipoded, and it freaking kills in an instant. It's ridiculous. There's like no drop off on it either. So basically, you're just picking up fish in a barrel. Well, fish falling into the barrel, but they're very, you know what? It's just really bad. So I don't really like that. I think that they should add maybe a spawn on the ground, you know, halfway through. That would maybe help it out a bit. But for the most part, I don't like that game mode. Frontlines is pretty rough. I played it on 3 different maps so far. I did not enjoy it for any of the maps that I've played it on since its release. The only map that I actually enjoyed it on was when I played in an event back in Sweden. It was on Devastation. And that was basically it. And I think the only reason why I had fun on that map was because I had people who were actually working with me. As a solo player, I haven't really had very many people working with me. Yeah, you do get, you know, some revives and some heals and some supplies and yada yada yada, which is not that bad. It's maybe a little less than what we had in past Battlefield games, but that particular mode just doesn't really lend itself that well. I do like some of the fixes that they did have it with the timers, and I do think it's a little bit better than what it was in Battlefield 1, but not really worth my time to really sink into it. I haven't played any of the small infantry modes, Domination and Team Deathmatch. From what I've seen, I did go into Spectator and I spectated a couple of matches. The maps are way too big. They definitely made them for 16 versus 16s, but it still feels very empty. And I don't know if that's just the play style of the players. I don't know if that's just, I feel like it's just the size of the map. They just don't fit whatsoever. So I kind of like maybe for them to bounce it up, like bump it up either to 64 or redo the maps to where it actually fits for 16 versus 16. I don't think they're going to do either of those, so probably not going to play any of those modes. Then we go into Conquest. And this right here is where I'm really struggling. So I have played 25 hours of Battlefield 5. I would say that 90% of that time has been in Conquest. And I'm disappointed with what we've seen from Conquest so far. They have said that they've gone to a classic Conquest system, but I have a hard time believing that because most of my games, and a lot of you guys will probably see this if you play Conquest, most of the games are sub 100 to even like sub 30, sub 20 ticket games. Constantly. Like, true classic Conquest does not end like that on a consistent basis. Like, the reason why those games were so sweaty back in Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 4, you know, BFT was because they didn't happen all the time. Like, they were amazing because they were very rare. And it does not feel like that's the case here for Battlefield 5. In fact, I know it's not the case because I got video evidence to prove it. So I don't know what they did, but it's not Conquest Classic. And I don't have a server to test this. I don't have an ability to go in and actually, you know, see what the bleed rates would be, or to see, you know, what it's like when you have multiple players on a flag and how the cap radiuses go. And I can't see that. So I don't know what the deal is with Conquest. I hope they release some information about it, or they make some changes to it, because it is not classic Conquest. Now overall, it's still, I think it's really funny. So with Battlefield 1, you had a bad base game and a messed up Conquest, and that made for just a horrible experience overall. But in Battlefield 5, you have a good base game and a messed up Conquest. And right now, that's making it bearable for me. I can still enjoy the game because I'm enjoying the gameplay itself, but it is frustrating because Conquest isn't truly what it's not what it's supposed to be. It's not, it doesn't have that Conquest feeling to me. It's too fast paced, it's too close, it's just not Conquest. And there's some other issues with it as well. So like, cap rates are extremely fast. So they have a new system with cap weight. So the closer a player is to a flag, the more priority it gives that player in terms of capping presence. So if you have a one-on-one on a flag, and I'm closer to the flag than the other guy, I will actually win the burn in that instance, which is complete bullshit. like I should be able to stop the burn by being on the cap radius. Now, I don't know if they did this because they were like, well, we have massive cap radiuses, which is another thing that should be toned down. Cap radiuses are huge in Battlefield 5. Like, literally, I can spend 2 minutes running around a freaking cap radius to find one guy laying down in a corner. That's not fun. That's not interesting. That's terrible map design. And I know there's been a couple of devs who have said on Twitter, well, we were asked by the Battlefield 1 community that they want... Well, first of all, you listen to the Battlefield 1 community, which was a horrible mistake because they enjoyed a really bad Battlefield game. When you have those big cap radiuses, you basically open it up for those people to camp on those radiuses and to just sit there all day long. That's not interesting gameplay. It's not fun to have to hunt those people down, and it's not fun to have to basically go, well, you know what? I'm not finding any action here. I'm just gonna go to another flag, and then because you leave it and nobody else is gonna go back there, it gets capped, and then all of a sudden you're getting SPAC spawns. It's just not, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It doesn't have anything to do with fair. It doesn't have anything to do with, it's just not fun. And that's what we're trying to make, is a fun game, right? We want to have a fun game. So cap weights, I think, need to go. Cap radiuses need to get shrunk down. They need to fix the spawns. The spawns are atrocious on some of these maps. Like, literally spawn me next to another flag in order to go defend or attack whatever flag I'm trying to go to. Like, what's up with that? It doesn't make any sense at all. I know it's probably been used way too much, but Battlefield 3 spawn system was great. Like, it was close to the flag. You had to fight your way to get onto a flag. They were predictable to a point, and there was a lot of them. There were a lot of spawns on the flags themselves. I wish we would go back to that system. That was a really, really good system. It was very competitive, and it allowed a team to actually defend flags. It is incredibly hard to defend flags in Battlefield 5, especially if you're outnumbered anywhere from, you know, 3 or 4 people. And I understand that you're like, well, 3 or 4 people, you should lose that fight every single time. Why? If I am a player who can position myself in a better spot, I should be able to take them down if I'm a better player. And I can do that, but the problem is that if I die and I try and spawn back in, I'm spawning back in like halfway across the map, and I can't even get there in time to stop the burn. And I should be able to, at the very least, slow it down or create some havoc and chaos for those guys. It needs to be a fight for that flag, and it just isn't right now. When there's nobody on a flag and there are like 5 players on it, it caps super flat, like domination fast. That has to go away. That can't happen. Like, I understand it needs to cap faster than if you had one player on it, but it can't be capping that fast. There needs to be a time to where people can recognize, oh, this flag is being contested, it's being capped, we need to spawn close to it or spawn on it and go for the defense. And that's just not possible right now. I do have some issues with some of the map design. I think that it's a little bit too open. Maybe they focus a little bit too much on fortifications and trenching systems and all that kind of stuff to be like the main focal point. But it doesn't work. People are not going to do the fortification system because it just honestly takes too long. If you are not a support, and even if you are a support, it takes a really long time to put down fortifications. I realize like it's going to add to a lot of these flags, but in Conquest, it's a system that doesn't work that well. It is definitely a system that was made for an attack defend style gameplay like Breakthrough. Frontlines. It was made for those type of modes where you know they're going to be coming in from this one direction, and that's the direction you're going to be defending from or attacking. You're not doing that in Conquest. In Conquest, they're going to be circling around behind you. They're going to be constantly flanking. They're going to be coming in from different directions. Those fortifications, it needs to happen faster for them to actually be useful, and right now the base map design has some glaring issues, especially on Twisted Steel and Hamada, in my opinion. Now, if you're a vehicle player on those maps, it's not that bad. I'm not saying that the vehicles are overpowered, although the bombing is bullshit right now for Battlefield 5. Like, that shit is just god-awful, okay? And I hate planes in any Battlefield game, but man, it is bad right now. Tanks, I mean, honestly, like, it's whatever. I don't really feel like they're overpowered at all. In fact, I think that especially like the heavy tanks, they need to have the turret adjusted to where they can move faster. Like, it's kind of ridiculous right now, but because it basically makes them into a back playing role, which is very boring, and it doesn't really help the infantry much. It doesn't help the team much on pushing up on flags. And I realize maybe if you're going for that authentic experience, they are a backup to infantry to push up. This is not an authentic experience game, in my opinion. This is an arcade game. It's supposed to be fun. Remember that word that we talked about earlier. It's supposed to be fun. So overall, guys, this has been a pretty long video. I was going to try and make it a 10-minute video, but that obviously didn't happen. I got started rambling and ranting. Overall, I like the game. This is a fun experience, okay? I enjoy playing it. I'm enjoying streaming it, and I'm not even really playing in squads right now. I think I played in a squad for like maybe an hour. Everything else has been solo play, and I have been loving the gameplay. There are some issues that I hope get fixed. Modes are definitely one of them. Conquest has to be fixed. RSP, I don't know where it's at. I don't know if it's coming. We get well, we have information, but we can't say anything yet. So I don't know if RSP is even going to be coming in the near future or even in the next year. I don't know what's the deal with it. So I wish I did, but without having that, the competitive scene is pretty much dead. So with that being said, guys, I don't think that we're going to be seeing any events or any competitions coming out in any capacity. I realize that we're probably going to be seeing maybe some Conquest guys, or not Conquest, console guys going in for like some domination stuff, maybe trying to fill in a server 16 versus 16 type thing, find an empty server, but I don't know how possible that's going to actually be, so we'll see. But overall, as a public game, I'm really enjoying it so far. I myself am definitely going to start streaming a lot more on a consistent basis. So yeah, anyways guys, that's kind of my little rant, I guess, on Battlefield 5 so far. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a very, very long one. I think we're up to 20 minutes, 21 minutes. I'm going to have some video gameplay in the background. I don't know what it is yet, but I've been having a lot of fun with the carbines and with the support class, so maybe that's what we're going to be seeing in the background for the most part. Guys, I hope you enjoyed your week. I hope that you guys enjoy the release date of the deluxe edition if you guys did buy it. And of course, you can buy the premium edition and get, $14 already, get signed in and load up the game and play it on PC. So that's always an option for you guys if you want to go and get it right now. So anyways, guys, take it easy. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.